When you think of the word Minecraft, what comes to mind? Is it the vast blocky landscapes, or the strangely rectangular sheep? Minecraft is genuinely an amazing game, and as good as the original vanilla game is, one thing that makes it so perfect is its mods. Today I'm going to be trying out a mod pack called DawnCraft. This mod pack pretty much changes everything in the game. The combat is different, animations are different, and there is just a giant list of mods that they've added to make this pretty much into just an RPG game. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. Instead of just getting thrown straight into the game, you actually get to pick your class, which I already thought was really cool, where I decided to just be boring and go for the warrior. Once I loaded in, I came across not one, but two floating islands, but I decided they were a bit too out of reach. You know, I just loaded in. As any playthrough goes, I chopped down some wood, made a pickaxe, and an axe, you know, the simple tools. And what you see in front of you is me discovering the new combat system. As you can see from my random frantic hits, I came across a little camp where the really friendly locals decided to greet me. I managed to sneak around the back and actually get in, which is where I found my first 2 diamonds. A whole 2 diamonds, look at that. And after getting chased out by these friendly locals with half health, I decided to use these 2 diamonds to craft myself up a diamond sword. What a start. The game had just begun, and I'd already found this. And I crafted a boat because I wanted to go have a look at what was in the ocean, because there was a whole bunch of stuff out here. I then decided to rob a random guy on his boat in the ocean. I managed to get a sharpness 1 book as well, and I took all his money and left. I then came across this massive fleet of boats. I was like, what on earth was going on here? And from what I can tell, it seems like there was some sort of battle going on. As the sun began to set, I came across a lovely little village, and I'll be honest, I really like the look of this village. I wish I could have stayed here a bit longer. Then finally figured out that these were Frostwalker 2 boots, so I was having a bit of fun with that. After wandering the streets for a bit, I decided to stock up on some food, which the villagers very kindly gave to me, and this is where the first day came to a close. The first thing I did when I woke up was I talked to one of the guild masters, and after stocking up on some more food, I decided it was time to continue the story. Because yes, this mod pack has a story. So I grabbed myself a lantern, and there I went. I set off to head over to the first village, which will begin the story. After arriving, I instantly found a lengthy iron pickaxe, which I swiftly grabbed. I then got accustomed with the locals, and there were a lot of iron golems. This was like a big village. I also found this chaotic gem. I still don't know what it does, but hey, I mean, it's good to have on me, right? Now, one thing I really needed to make was a very special item called the backpack. This is simply just an amazing thing to have. It basically gives you a second inventory, and I decided I needed to make this. But for this, I needed leather and string, 2 things which I did not have yet. This is when I came across a massive cave, which I originally was like, oh yeah, let's go check it out. But after closer inspection, there's some things down there that I never want to see again. So after collecting a bunch of stone for furnaces, I decided to head back up and stumbled across a big 8 vein of iron, which I swiftly grabbed, and then decided to throw a waypoint down of the first village because I didn't want to forget where this was. I then found a waypoint which was of Zoi Cred. Yeah, I don't know either. That's when I came across this insane... Oh wait, wrong thing. This insane wizard tower. Instead of going straight into the wizard tower, I saw cows, which is what we needed for the backpack. So I swiftly took care of that. I then headed up the ominous stairs and entered the building, where I was expecting some crazy wizard to attack me instantly, but it was actually quite cozy. I then headed upstairs onto this little balcony area, where I found an inscription table. Still don't know what it does, but I probably should have picked it up. And after doing some quick maintenance and, you know, clearing out this building, I decided this is where I'd spend the night. It was a rainy night, so I decided to spend some time on the balcony looking out, and let me tell you, it looks insanely cool. I then set up my chests, and then set up some flower pots, and threw a carrot in, of all things. Yeah, we're on a budget here. I have to throw a carrot in a plant pot. After hearing some strange sounds outside, I decided this is where the second day comes to an end. As soon as I woke up, I knew it was go time. I stashed everything in my chest and decided it was time to do some exploration. As I headed away from my castle, I instantly found a pillager and a skeleton. Quickly killed the skeleton and moved on to the pillager. I killed another one. I dealt with two at the same time. I feel like I was starting to get used to this combat now. And that was when this guy spawned in. This is the skilled variant of a pillager. Basically more health, more damage. So I heroically ran away and hid in my house. I then made some furnaces and placed them underneath my chest. I decided it was time to cook up some food, so I grabbed some raw beef and started cooking in my new shiny furnaces. I grabbed my bread and headed right back out to see if I could kill this thing. So I placed some torches around a spider spawner that was nearby. I quickly chucked down torches all around this one too, whilst being shot at, and then ran off. I decided it's all or nothing, quickly realized why you don't do that. This is when I had my first death. This is when I decided clearly the locals don't like me, and I decided it was about time to move out. I think the villagers would be much friendlier to me if I moved in. As the sun set, I arrived in the village again, ready to find my home. I came across another guildmaster, but he seemed a bit busy. As I grabbed the bed from under the villager, that was how the third day came to an end. As I woke up, I decided to search around the village. When I came across a whole bunch of stuff, I realized how big this village actually was. Because I mean, it went all the way down the mountain into this river, which I thought was insanely cool. I also decided that this building would now be my home, so I started chucking down chests. I threw my furnaces above them, I chucked everything in the chest, and I found this cool little stall in the middle of the town, which obviously had nothing in it. And this chest was my best find. It was an entire set of iron armor. I put on the full set of iron armor, and I was feeling a lot stronger. I decided this top room would be my bedroom, so I cleared it out. I threw another chest down, and then I decided to expand the cellar because it was extremely small and I needed some more room for chests. I decided to do some maintenance around the house because there was a lot of mossy cobblestone. And yeah, I also got a little visitor. Please get out my house. I cleared out some pumpkins around the front of my house, and there we go. My official first house was completed. I decided it was about time to go and collect a bunch of coal, so I headed down the mountain and started collecting a bunch of coal veins. I saw the sun setting, so I decided to take it in. And I'll be honest, these shaders are amazing, man. These shaders are so good. And as the sun set, I decided I was going to try and reach one of the floating islands. So I collected a bunch of blocks and went to sleep. As soon as I woke up, I got out of the house and headed straight to the floating island. And after a close call with a bear, I jumped into the lake to cross onto the other side. I found the closest point to the floating island and started my ascent. I eventually reached the waterfall, and I saw a little cave as well, which looks really cool. After I found the front door, from the first chest I got a bunch of iron ingots, emeralds, and an enchanted golden moss clump. I don't know what it does, but it sounds pretty cool. I also found a cool shovel and a bunch of coal. I went up to the second floor and I saw two lovely chests waiting there right for me, but suddenly some random dude has spawned on top of it. And at first I didn't think it was alive until it started running at me. I attempted to fight it and slowly started to realize that that was not gonna work. He had a lot more health than me. So I used the extra cool strat of locking him outside his own house. Look at me go. I summoned in the second one and did the exact same thing to him, running outside, getting them both outside their own home, and locking them out. Breaking and entering has never been more fun. I then searched for what they were hiding, and I found a bunch of ancient tombs. I managed to find myself a Raise Dead scroll, which basically summons a zombie for you. As I summoned him in, he gave me a funny look, and I knew instantly this was the key to success. Now, saying that I cheesed this would be an extreme understatement, because I sat there and I watched as my zombie slowly just hit them over and over again. So I ate my bread as I watched my zombie do all the work. I then climbed all the way back down, destroying my horrendous looking pillar, and I had successfully cleared the floating island. I threw my anvil down in my cellar, and after a long day of clearing that island, I went to bed. The next day, I found a villager called Phoebe, who wanted me to make them shears, so I was like, why not? That's 2 bits of iron, I'm sure I can do it. I gave her the shears, she thanked me, and then she gave me a contract. This contract basically means I can trade with them, and they like me a bit more, so hey, it's a plus plus. I then filled up my chest with all the loot I'd gotten. I then decided to go over to the guildmaster to see what quest they actually had for me. And well, it was pretty simple. Just kill 10 pillagers, and conveniently I had a pillager spawner right near the wizard tower. So I quickly headed over there to find the pillager spawner. Funny enough, as I went near the spawner, it started raining, which is a great atmosphere for what I was about to do. As the fight began, I managed to kill one of them. I started taking them on one by one as 3 of them shot at me at the same time. I finished off another pillager. Didn't know this at the time, but you actually get rewards for clearing out the spawners. So I got a golden apple, a bunch of gold, and emeralds. I finally got the guts to head down a cave. And, you know, I just killed all those pillagers, you know. I'm sure there's nothing worse in this cave, surely. I suddenly got blown up by... I don't even know what I got blown up. I didn't hear it. I didn't see it. Once I killed the skeleton, I realized maybe I'm not built for this, and I swiftly exited the cave. I found a weird glowy guy standing outside the wizard tower, so I decided to take him on. I realized how little damage I was actually dealing to him, so yet again, I quickly ran away from that as well. Another reason why I was at the wizard tower was for the inscription table. I didn't gather it last time, but this time, we got it. I found this weird little orange worm. I don't even know what it was, but it started getting a bit aggressive once I hit it around the head with a sword, so I quickly cleaned up that thing. Then I decided I'd go for the spider spawner next because, you know, those rewards were pretty nice. And then the purple dude decided to come back, so now I was fighting all the spiders and the purple dude. But I was not backing down. I wanted these spiders gone no matter what happened. So even though I was down to 1 heart, I managed to quickly heal up and quickly kill the spiders one by one until the rewards were finally given to me. Hey, pause right there. You see that? That is a zombie spawn egg. I didn't even realize I got this at the time. But we got some zombie spawn eggs. I don't know what I can use that on, but hey, that's pretty rare. As I arrived back home, I realized it was snowing a bit, which was a lovely setting for me to lay down and go to sleep. As I headed downstairs into my cellar, I realized today is going to be an exploration day. I want to go and explore and find new things. So after rearranging my bedroom to fit the inscription table there, I decided to head off. The first thing I noticed was this massive circular thing sticking off the cliff. So I was 100% checking that out. Unfortunately, one thing I did need was leather, so I had to contribute to extinction of cows. I noticed this sort of abandoned castle, which as I walked up, I noticed some not very friendly looking citizens standing right in front of it. So I avoided them, headed around, and entered the abandoned building. It was difficult to tell if there were any chests here, because, you know, it was very overgrown. But if loot was going to be anywhere, it was in his massive tower. So I managed to mine my way inside, and was greeted with a strange looking zombie and a spawner that I quickly mined. After killing the zombie, I was going to head upstairs, but after realizing there was some sort of cellar, and I saw a lot of creepers in it, I wanted to see what was down there. And my massive brain decided to jump right into it as 50,000 creepers blew up, and I started fighting Pelgrim the Sharpshooter, which in hindsight I should have probably ran away from this cellar. It did not look good, so why'd I go down it? No idea. As the sun started to set, I built my way up there and was greeted with a lovely chest which had ancient wisdom in it. Now I ain't gonna read all of this, but you guys can pause it if you really want to, because it don't make no sense to me, so maybe it'll make sense to you, I don't know. As I went round the corner, I came across a really nice little village, which I decided, you know what, we're gonna sleep here for today. So after taking some of their bookshelves, I found an empty house, which is where I decided to sleep for the day. As I woke up and left the building, I decided it was time to do some looting. I went around the village and took a couple things, and they clearly weren't very happy with me. I then noticed a massive globe out in the distance. These buildings are very strange, alright? We got that one as well. I decided to have a little chat with their guildmaster, as always. I grabbed some sugarcane from their beaches as well, because I don't think they're going to use that anytime soon. I also caught this zombie aura farming, so I had to clean him up as well. I ascended the hills to reach this extremely strange circle. It looks almost like a volcano. I'm not really sure what it is. As soon as I took one step in this, I was like, this is a boss fight. There's gonna be a boss in here, right? Surely. As I approached the center, a weird hand kind of looked at me funny and then didn't do anything, so whatever it needs, I clearly don't have. I then got a bit curious and headed over to this little building over here, where I grabbed a couple of their barrels for safekeeping. As I headed through the door, I didn't even notice there was a homeowner, and he was not happy to see me, so I quickly dealt with him, and then stole all his valuables. Guys, I swear I'm the good guy here. One of these valuables was a jukebox, which I decided to borrow from him. I also managed to find some string and some bundles, so I was definitely making the backpack soon. As I finally reached back home, I talked to the guildmaster of the village, and he gave me a map to a pillager camp, which is extremely useful. As I noticed it was only 100 meters away, I threw down some barrels in my cellar and filled them up with loot. This was officially the moment where I made the backpack. And oh, it was satisfying. You throw whatever you want in it and it will store as much as your inventory will, so it's basically a second inventory, exactly how I described it. I decided to fill it with a couple of the essentials. I threw it on my back, satisfied with my work. That is when I went to sleep for the last time. Hello there, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this video. I put a lot of effort into this, and if you got to this point, I genuinely appreciate you. And you know, drop a subscribe, maybe like, you know, hit the bell. I'd really appreciate any support. It means the world to me. But without further ado, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.